Thank you for coming, everybody. It's lovely to see all of you from across the state of Michigan. We love you. We are so grateful that you came. And we are about to hear from a lady. Her name, her initials are Miss Lucretia Hughes, and she was a former Obama supporter. She was a Democrat, and she is a walkaway that ran all the way over here. And she's a Trump supporter. She's very conservative. She was the president of the Lanier Tea Party. This lady's been all over the place. I actually met her in Virginia, and then again at the Trump International. And I'm managing her as talent as well. So she has done some amazing things, and she's going to do even greater things. This little lady you're going to see out there a lot. I know that. And I'm going to bring her up. Her name is Lucretia Hughes.
Hello everyone. Like she said, my name is Lucretia Hughes and I'm from Loganville, Georgia. I usually start everything off as representing myself, but sometimes the Bible says you let your light so shine before the world and never place it in a bushel. So I always say I represent God, family, country, and Donald Trump. But those first three never changes, because when you figure out why you're fighting, why you get up every day, what you will stand up for, nothing can shake your core. Ever. But you're looking at a woman that had 4 children by the time she was 20, so what you gonna throw at me? Nothing. I made the mistakes, I did what I had to do, and I'm not apologizing for my past, because my past is giving you the woman that you see today.
That's right.
The Democrats and some Republicans, they wish you don't vote. Period. Or that your vote don't count when you're having the popular vote. But that is what our founding fathers stood for, is that each and every last one of us voted. And as a collective whole, we sent delegates to the state and the national to make sure they voted for us and voted the right way. But if you're seeing now, they want to take away that voting right. When I was named after, my mom wanted to tell you I was named after Lucretia Hughes. And if you know who she was an ex-murderer. But I prefer Lucretia Mock, who was on the front line. Susan B. Anthony, Harriet Tubman. She said, Sojourner Truth. And I just found out that Frederick Douglass' very last speech was a speech about women's suffrage. And he died later that night, but he died happy doing what he wanted to do. He was a freed slave, and guess who freed him? The same women that we're here to celebrate, but they forgot to free themselves at the same time. They passed the 15th Amendment first, but they forgot to include the women. Because the men might be the head of the household, but we are the neck, and you can't move the head without the neck, no matter how hard you try. So when the women decided that they wanted to have the same rights as men, you know, we can cook it up, fry it in a pan, put it on the table, and still wash your clothes. But we couldn't vote. We can birth your babies one day, get up the next day to make sure you had supper on the table, but that's all we was worth. We could not own property. We could not even talk about politics. We had to go with our girls, way somewhere baking a cake, saying what the men was doing was wrong, but we could do better. But we didn't have that right to vote. You didn't have any rights. You was a piece of property. Let's really get to the real deal. Women was property of men. And if you really look at it now, the way the feminists are going, we're going to be property of men again. Or are we going to slaughter all the male babies? Because that's not what feminism is to me. That's not what the women's suffrage stood for. Because those same women that helped free the slaves, the ones that made sure that the black men had the right to vote, even though they tried, even though it was amendment, even though there was tricks, games, and everything else, we still got it up there. But they forgot about themselves and the next offsprings. So we have the 19th Amendment. You know what? I didn't know what a pocket constitution was. I didn't even know what the Constitution was before. You know, because I'm black, you vote Democrat. Wrong. They don't teach you what this is. They don't teach it in school right now. They will slide over the rights. When you're having someone like an AOC up there that has to get Bernie Sanders to tell her what inherent rights are, you dangerous. You the worst thing that we need for America. When you're having someone like Tel Aviv, but I call her Taliban because that's what she acts like. I don't think they know what this is. I'm a walker. Somebody should start walking, okay? They don't know what this is. They don't know what we're fighting for, but they sworn to oppose it. Well, wait a minute, because didn't a couple of them actually take it on the Quran in the first place? Even though it was founded by Judeo-Christian values, but somehow God don't exist anymore. Tell me that. So when you have the 15th and the 19th Amendment, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. It's pretty much the same thing. They just add a little words here and there. But the 15th Amendment plainly states the right of a citizen of the United States to vote, not to be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on the account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. That was for the free slave. Let's not forget about Jim Crow. Let's not forget about the little test you had to take to make sure that you could vote, which was another way of keeping us from voting in the same place. But then you have a bunch of women, because you got to remember, when you get a bunch of women in the same room, Lord, me and y'all in trouble. They stood outside of the White House and didn't say a word. They just stood there. You know what they got arrested for? Impeding traffic. They just stood there. You had Susan B. Anthony. You had Lucretia Hughes. You had all these women silent, standing on the sidewalk as a silent protest, but they got arrested because that's not what women were supposed to do. They fought and they fought to make sure that it was amended to the 19th Amendment. Only thing they did was add a couple words. It's pretty much the same thing. It says the right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on the account of sex. What are they doing now? If they can literally ratify this, if we can literally have a convention of states, which I hate. I hate that idea of you changing the Constitution, that you can go behind closed doors. Who are these people going to be? What are you going to vote on, and how are we going to stop you? Because right now, for the last 2 years, we have the Democrats said this needs to be repealed and replaced. This ain't Mexico. We don't need the UN or the New World Order to rewrite our Constitution. I think our founding fathers did the best job they could. This is not a living, breathing document. Period. I'm sorry, it don't change on the whim. The Bill of Rights gives you every right to keep and bear arms, to run your mouth, to do whatever you please without a no-knock warrant or a grenade coming through your front door. And then you're going to have the 15th and the 19th. But if they can ratify that, you won't have a reason to vote because they're going to pre-tell you who's going to be the president. If that's the case, they wouldn't be crashing the stock market when it comes to coronavirus. Be more concerned with the flu. Not a nuclear bioweapons disease that has a patent on it before it even came to the United States. Stop being so gullible and blind and leading to hysteria before you decide to kill your own self. Because that's exactly what they're going to do. Last year, not only do they want to take away your voting record, they're trying to take away your life. What do you mean? When you had 11,000 scientists come out and said, we need to depopulate the world. That was said in November. In Hong Kong, it started in June. There was protests and riots all in the street. But all of a sudden, you get the coronavirus and everybody's scared to come outside. Why? How? And when are we going to stop this from happening? When are we going to realize that the government has gotten too big for its own britches? When are you going to realize and understand that after they take away your rights, you don't give them back? And it should scare each and every last one of y'all that they took over 1/6 of the economy. And that's called Obamacare. You ain't never going to get that right back. Ever. Ever. So right now, a bottle of hand sanitizer is about $30, and y'all sitting here doing fist pumps. Really? You better shake my hand. You better give me a hug and show me some love. Now that's the 19th Amendment, because I can go on from them. This is going to scare y'all, because half of y'all don't know half the stuff I'm talking about right now. Because they refuse to even teach your kids this. So guess what? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you and your destiny is bound to repeat themselves. Period. When they stopped teaching civics in school, that should have scared you right there. What y'all fight for? What is the greatest generation in this room, which are baby boomers? How did that become an insult? I call these wisdom highlights because I had to go through a lot to get them. So why in the world are you insulting boomers? You think that's an insult? Pray that you get there. Pray that you get over 65. But actually, maybe don't pray that. Because if you listen to Bernie Sanders and also listen to Joe Biden, they're going to tell you when you gonna die. Because you have outlived your usefulness. And the Dickens, what the word that you just said to me? You work for me, I don't work for you, I pay you. And I just sit you down because I was given the 19th Amendment, the right to vote. Here's the right. When you look at the 19th Amendment, you got to remember the Voting Rights Act of the 60s. Because Native Americans, African Americans, and the majority, the minority, did not have that right to vote. It was always something. So if your grandparents fought against it, young folks, I'm talking to all my young folks in here, I'm going to need for y'all not to be gullible anymore. I'm going to need for y'all to get a backbone because your friend's picking at you. The Lord made you. Don't be scared to represent God's family country because those first three never changes. You living in the best nation on this planet. Because if it was not the case, people would be killing themselves to get here.